let me tell you about a specific kind of mystery that happens in the dark. It's not a nightmare, it's not sleepwalking, it's not anything frightening at all. It's laughter. Real, genuine laughter erupting from someone who's completely unconscious. Joy expressed by a mind that's dreaming. Happiness that exists in a world only they can see. If you laugh in your sleep, or if you've witnessed someone who does, you know how strange and beautiful this phenomenon is. You know what it's like to wake yourself up laughing, to be pulled from a dream by your own sound of joy, to lie there in the dark, still feeling the happiness from a place you can't quite remember. You know what it's like when someone tells you that you were laughing last night, that you seemed genuinely amused by something in your sleep, that whatever dream you were having was apparently hilarious. You know the frustration of trying to remember what was so funny, of grasping at dream fragments that dissolve the moment you reach for them, of knowing you experienced something joyful but having no conscious memory of what it was. And you might have wondered what it means, why your unconscious mind finds things funny, what's happening in your brain when you laugh without knowing you're laughing. Here's what I want you to understand. Laughing in your sleep isn't just a random quirk, it's a window into something deeper, into the relationship between your conscious and unconscious self, into the parts of you that exist only when you're not watching. And if you've ever been told you laugh in your sleep, if you've ever woken yourself with your own laughter, if you've ever wondered what your dreaming mind finds so amusing, stay here. Because what you're about to understand isn't just about nocturnal laughter, it's about what your unconscious knows that your conscious mind doesn't, about the joy that exists beneath your awareness, and what it means that part of you is happy even when you're not awake to know it. Here's what's actually happening when someone laughs in their sleep. Their brain is experiencing genuine emotional response to dream content. Real laughter triggered by imagined scenarios. Sleep scientists call this phenomenon hypnogaly. It typically occurs during REM sleep, the stage where dreaming is most vivid and emotional processing is most active. During REM sleep, most of your body is paralyzed, a protective mechanism that keeps you from acting out your dreams. But this paralysis doesn't extend to all muscles. Your diaphragm, your vocal cords, the muscles involved in facial expressions, these remain partially active. So when your dreaming mind encounters something amusing, your body can still respond. The laughter is real. The joy is genuine, even though the trigger exists only in your unconscious. And here's what makes this fascinating. Your brain during REM sleep is processing emotions, memories, experiences in ways your conscious mind never does. It's making connections your waking self wouldn't make, creating scenarios your logical mind would dismiss. So the laughter isn't just about finding something funny, it's about your unconscious engaging with content in pure, unfiltered ways, without self-consciousness, without judgment, without the social filters that govern your waking responses. When you laugh in your sleep, you're experiencing emotion in its most authentic form, unmediated by thoughts about whether it's appropriate, unconcerned with who might hear, completely genuine because there's no one performing and no one watching. Here's what people who laugh in their sleep often have in common. Rich dream lives, active imaginations, minds that remain creative and engaged even during unconsciousness. They tend to be people whose dreams are vivid and emotionally resonant, who wake with fragments of stories that felt completely real while they were happening, who experience their dream world as fully as their waking one. This doesn't mean they're happier than others. Sleep laughter isn't necessarily correlated with daytime mood. You can laugh in your sleep and struggle with depression when awake. You can have joyful dreams and anxious days. Because the unconscious mind operates independently. It has its own emotional landscape, its own responses, its own relationship with joy that exists separately from your conscious experience. Some psychologists suggest that people who laugh in their sleep have less rigid boundaries between their conscious and unconscious minds, that their dream content is more emotionally expressive, that their sleeping brain allows more authentic emotional release. Others propose that sleep laughter represents emotional processing, the brain working through experiences, relationships, memories in ways that produce genuine affect. Laughter as the byproduct of unconscious problem solving or integration. But perhaps most interesting is what sleep laughter suggests about compartmentalized joy, the idea that part of you has access to happiness even when your waking self doesn't feel it. Here's what's particularly fascinating about the content that triggers sleep laughter. When people manage to remember what they were laughing at, it's often absurd, surreal, logic-defying, in ways that wouldn't be funny when awake. Dream humour operates on different rules than waking humour. It finds comedy in impossible situations, in bizarre juxtapositions, in narrative leaps that make no sense but feel hilarious in the moment. You might dream that your childhood dog is giving a lecture on quantum physics, or that you're having a serious conversation with a talking sandwich, or that gravity suddenly works sideways and everyone is walking on walls like it's completely normal. These scenarios wouldn't be funny if you imagined them while awake. They'd be weird, random, meaningless, but in dreams they're comedy gold. Your unconscious finds them hilarious, laughs with complete abandon at absurdity that your rational mind would dismiss. This reveals something important about creativity and constraint. Your waking mind is bound by logic, by what makes sense, by social conventions about what's funny and what's not. But your dreaming mind is free. It can find humour anywhere, create comedy from chaos, laugh at impossible things. And when you laugh in your sleep, you're experiencing that freedom, that pure, unfiltered engagement with creativity unbound by rational constraint. Here's the emotional significance of laughing in your sleep. It suggests that joy exists in you even when you're not conscious of it. That happiness isn't just a state you create through circumstances or effort. It's something your mind can generate spontaneously. For people who struggle with depression or anxiety during waking hours, sleep laughter can be profound because it proves that capacity for joy still exists, that some part of them, the unconscious part, still knows how to feel happiness. It's evidence that the depression isn't total, that beneath the conscious struggle there's still a self that finds things amusing, that experiences lightness, that hasn't forgotten how to laugh. This doesn't diminish the reality of their daytime suffering, but it offers something, proof that the capacity for joy isn't destroyed, just inaccessible to the conscious mind right now. Sleep laughter becomes a message from the unconscious, a reminder that you're more than your current emotional state, that other feelings exist in you, even if you can't access them while awake. Here's what happens when you wake yourself with your own laughter. There's a moment of complete disorientation. You're pulled from one reality into another mid-emotion. The laughter might continue for a few seconds after you wake, your body still responding to stimulus that's already fading, your conscious mind catching up to what your unconscious was experiencing, and then there's the attempt to remember. What was so funny? What were you dreaming? Why were you laughing? But dream content dissolves rapidly upon waking. The harder you grasp at it, the faster it disappears. You might catch fragments, glimpses of imagery, a feeling of hilarity without being able to recall the joke. And there's something bittersweet about that. You know you just experienced joy, real, genuine joy, but you can't take it with you into waking, can't hold on to whatever your unconscious found so amusing. Some people describe this as frustrating, like being denied access to your own happiness, like knowing pleasure exists but being unable to reach it. Others find it comforting, evidence that joy is available somewhere in them, even if not consciously accessible in the moment. A reminder that they're capable of laughter even when life feels heavy. Here's what sleep laughter reveals about the relationship between your conscious and unconscious mind. They're not the same. They don't always agree. They don't even necessarily share the same emotional state. Your conscious mind might be worried, stressed, anxious about tomorrow's responsibilities. But your unconscious mind is off having adventures, finding things funny, experiencing emotions completely unrelated to your waking concerns. This separation can feel strange, like you're two different people. The daytime you who carries all the weight, and the nighttime you who's apparently having a great time without you knowing about it. But this separation is also protective. It means your unconscious can continue processing, creating, experiencing independently of your current struggles, that some part of you remains untouched by whatever difficulty you're consciously facing. Your dreaming mind is like a child who keeps playing even when the adults are worried. It maintains its own relationship with joy regardless of circumstances, and that persistence matters because it means joy isn't gone. It's just happening in a part of you that's temporarily out of reach. Here's what people who laugh in their sleep often wonder. Is my unconscious happier than my conscious self? Am I secretly more joyful than I realise? Does the real me only emerge when I'm asleep? These questions reflect a deeper inquiry. Which version is authentic? The struggling, anxious, overwhelmed conscious self? Or the laughing, creative, uninhibited, unconscious self? The answer is both. You're not one or the other. You're the tension between them, the person who contains both the weight of awareness and the lightness of dreaming. Your conscious mind carries what your unconscious doesn't have to. The practical concerns, the social awareness, the memory of why things are difficult. Your unconscious mind maintains what your conscious can't always access. The creativity, the spontaneity, the capacity for joy unmediated by circumstance. Neither is more real. They're just different aspects of the same person, different ways of being that serve different purposes. And sleep laughter is the moment when the unconscious breaks through, when the joy that exists beneath awareness becomes audible, when the part of you that's still playing makes itself known. Here's what I want you to know if you laugh in your sleep. It means something beautiful. That joy exists in you even when you're not looking for it. That happiness isn't something you have to manufacture through perfect circumstances or conscious effort. It means your mind still knows how to play, to find humour in absurdity, to experience lightness without reason or justification. It means you're not as heavy as you sometimes feel, that beneath whatever weight you carry during the day, there's still a self that remembers how to laugh. So tonight, if you're someone who laughs in their sleep, or if you share a bed with someone who does, recognise it for what it is. Not just a quirk, not just a strange sleep phenomenon, but evidence of joy. Proof that happiness exists somewhere in the complex landscape of your mind. A message from your unconscious that says, I'm still here. I'm still capable of delight. I haven't forgotten how. And that matters, especially on days when conscious joy feels impossible, when life feels too heavy for laughter, when you wonder if you'll ever feel light again. Your sleeping self is reminding you, joy is still accessible. Maybe not right now, maybe not in ways you can consciously reach, but it's there, waiting, ready to emerge when the conditions allow. And sometimes, in the middle of the night, it emerges anyway, without permission, without reason, just pure unconscious laughter from a part of you that never stopped knowing how